Welcome to this edition of Pets on Parade. I'm Jackie Williams for MCTV, and we're very glad that you could join us again this month. As you can see, we're in a totally different place. We're here at the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast, and we have lots of animals around, and we're going to let you meet just a few of them as we talk. We're going to try to focus today on an issue that's really important to the entire community, not just the animal welfare community, and that's the issue of spay-neuter. It's very important for dog and cat owners to have their animals neutered. The pet population in the United States is unbelievable, and part of that is because spay-neuter has not taken on the importance that it should have. So we're going to spend the day today letting you meet some animals and talking about spay-neuter and encouraging you to get your animal spayed or neutered. Now, joining us today is somebody almost brand new to the Humane Society. This is Dr. Patricia Discant, and you started here in July.
Yep, I started July of 2017, so we're coming up on about 6 months of being here.
And you're the house veterinarian.
I am the full-time shelter veterinarian, yes.
Cool. Now, we were talking earlier, and we were talking about your background. Tell us a little bit. You're brand new out of vet school, so tell us a little bit about what's going on and how you got here.
So I started off, you want to talk in the microphone too? I started off as an undergraduate at the University of Florida, where I got my degree in microbiology and cell science and animal science biology. And then I applied for vet school, got in on my first try, and graduated in 2017 with my DVM. I also got a certification in shelter medicine from the Maddie Shelter Medicine Program. Oh, French kisses.
This is Henry, by the way. I forgot to introduce Henry.
He's my friend.
Yeah.
And so I've done a lot of work with shelters and high volume, high quality spay neuter. You're just gonna keep moving.
Henry, you're gonna have to get down on the floor, huh? Yeah, here he goes.
There we go.
Henry is available here at the shelter. He's a year old, and you said that he came in through animal control.
Yes, he was picked up and brought in with about 6 other dogs at that time. So he just got put up for adoption a few days ago, and he is neutered and microchipped and ready to go.
And he's awfully cute.
He is adorable and very, very sweet.
He's a good boy.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I know you're a good boy. All right, now, tell us, you said that you specialized in shelter management or in shelter veterinarian stuff. And what made you want to go into that field instead of private practice?
So it was a journey that I didn't expect, quite frankly. I started off wanting to be an equine veterinarian. Mm-hmm. So I was born and raised in Palm Beach Gardens, and I shadowed an equine veterinarian for most of high school and undergraduate of college. So I knew I needed to get some small animal experience just to get into vet school, right. And I didn't quite know how to go about that, and I wasn't getting any jobs at any private practices. So I went to our local spay-neuter clinic in Gainesville, and I started volunteering there as a kennel technician. So I would just clean the cages, help check animals in and out, clean the instruments. Nothing really, I couldn't touch any of the animals, but I wanted to start getting that experience. Mm-hmm. And it just happened at that point that I fell in the hands of the right places at the right time and got...
We're having problems with Henry. Let's collect Henry here. Come on. There you go. Come on. That's a good boy. Henry's going to go back and take a nap.
Yep. Get ready for his adoption. Sure. For everyone to come by and see him today. Hopefully find his forever home.
You know, he's awfully cute.
He's so cute. So I was at the clinic there, and the clinic was right next to Alachua County Humane Society. They had built a facility right next to the SpayNeuter clinic. Mm-hmm. And in that facility was also Operation Catnip, which is a trap, neuter, release program. Right. So SpayNeuter for community cats. And I went over there to just kind of introduce myself and see the new facility. And I ended up the coordinator for a local rescue was also the executive director for Operation Catnip at the time. And I had a feral cat colony of 23 cats in my backyard that I needed to get spayed and neutered. So I started volunteering with them, and I started volunteering with a rescue group. I started fostering animals, and then I was helping at the surgical clinics once a month with Operation Catnip. And then I just got involved with all the shelter medicine people, and I just found that it was my niche, and I had a passion for the herd health, which is part of my equine medicine background, and applying that to the small animal and the high surgical experience and just the medicine in general. I think I would have gotten bored if I went into private practice, but there's definitely no being bored here.
That's really a cool story that you got involved as a volunteer and then kind of made it your life's work. That's terrific. Tell us a little bit about why it's so important to have a veterinarian on staff here at the Humane Society or any humane society.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because for a really long time now, a lot of humane societies and shelters have vets that come in and help every once in a while, or they have vets that they're contracted with where they send animals out. And that could be really stressful and kind of disruptive to the facility itself, whereas when you have a veterinarian on staff, I'm doing my daily rounds. I get to know all of the animals that are here. I know the population. I see how animals are changing, what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis. In addition to, if anybody needs me or there's an emergency, I'm also here right away. We can get those problems taken care of instead of needing to send those cases out or to someone who's not really familiar with the system. So it's nice to be able to get protocols in place and have someone here all the time for the consistency and for the animals' overall health care and managing everyone so that we have the happiest, healthiest animals to go up for adoption.
That's really cool. I never thought it was that complicated, but it's kind of like you have your own little practice right here, your own little community.
It certainly is. We practice a little bit of emergency medicine. We practice some day-to-day general wellness care. We practice surgery. We do some oncology and some specialty internist work. And then we kind of get a little bit of all of it in here and, have herd health management at the same time because we want to do what's best for the community of animals. And then we still have our public SpayNeuter program, which is out there to help the public and their animals.
Okay, we're going to talk about that next, as a matter of fact. You mentioned the concept herd health. I'm assuming that means when there's a group of animals all in one place.
That's correct. So you're essentially taking the group of animals. You have to think of it as kind of when you're thinking about vaccines and when we're discussing how it's important for the community of humans to get vaccines. And you need to have a certain threshold of the population to get vaccines so that the whole community can be protected. So we're looking at the community of shelter animals that are coming in and leaving and seeing what we need to do to make sure that all the animals are healthy, even though we can't necessarily. Sometimes you can't just treat one individual animal because that might affect the entire health of the entire shelter. Sure. So that's why you have to it's one piece of the puzzle, and you want to treat each individual animal as an individual, but you still have to take into account that you have a population of almost 200, 300 animals at times that need to be looked after also.
Sure. It's an interesting concept and an interesting field, and I wish you luck in it and hope that you spend your life enjoying it. All right, let's talk about our main topic, which is spay-neuter. And I guess, I mentioned in our little open that it was very important to do that. I know it's important, but I don't really know why it's important. So why don't you tell us what the advantage of spaying and neutering is?
So our number one biggest advantage is the obvious, as I would say, the lack of reproduction. I just spayed my foster cat this past weekend, and she just came up on 4 months old and was already in heat. And so that means that at 4 months old, she was ready to start having litters of kittens. And in 1 year, you know, that could be almost 3-4 litters of kittens on this baby that's, I mean, she's still a baby herself.
Probably not even a year old.
She's 4 months old at this point. So by the time she hit a year, she would have probably had 2 or 3 litters already.
Right.
And so just that alone, you have one cat having 6 babies, times 6 babies, times 6 babies, and those babies having babies and more babies. And we already have this overpopulation with the animals that are here in the shelter because for whatever reason, it wasn't working in the home they were in, and they ended up here. So our goal of spay neuter.
Let me just emphasize that point. What's happening is, and not this shelter individually, but in shelters all over the country, those overpopulated animals are ending up in the shelter. And that's a problem, because then that becomes a very financially difficult situation for a community to deal with.
And that's true. Most people don't realize that even the adoption fees for a lot of the animals don't cover the cost of even the basic care that they're receiving here. And for the most part, we are going above and beyond to make sure that animals are getting top-notch care and that they can find their forever home. And there could be a variety of reasons why we do end up with them. It's not just overpopulation, but overpopulation is a major reason for animals ending up in shelters around the world, really.
Right. And spay and neuter can help to eliminate that. Now, what else about spay and neuter is important for, you know, your average, ordinary pet owner?
So the research shows that it's still very important for the animal's health and their well-being. For dogs and cats that aren't spayed, they're at risk, higher risk for cancer, for mammary cancer, and for ovarian cancer. They're also at higher risk for an infection called pyometra, which is an infection of the uterus. And a lot of people actually don't know what that is. And so if a dog or cat is in heat, they still have their uterus, they can have this infection, and it leads to their uterus filling up with essentially pus, and it can kill them very quickly. So if you remove the ovaries, which the disease is due to a process based on estrogen, actually. So it's a combination of the infection and the estrogen allowing for the infection to occur, and then it locks it into the uterus. And so it gets...
So spaying an animal will resolve that issue completely?
Completely eliminates the chances of pyometra, especially by making sure that the ovary is taken out completely. You completely eliminate that risk. And of course, the mammary tumors, if they're spayed before their first heat, you've pretty much eliminated their chance, lowered it to 1 or 2% for a malignant, so a bad mammary cancer. Whereas if they're intact, that goes up to, if they get a mammary tumor, it's a greater chance it's going to be malignant. And then for males, a lot of the time, it's more directed towards their behavior, their roaming behavior. Males that are intact want to roam. They can be a little bit more dominant and have more focused behavior on wanting to go breed, and that leads to them being less involved in their family and being around their human friends and family. So getting them spayed and neutered is really a big health benefit also.
Very cool. What would you like to accomplish in your first year here?
Ooh, that's a question I really haven't.
That's a new one.
It is a new one. This shelter is amazing, and I actually, before I graduated and applied here, didn't know that much about it, which is crazy because I grew up essentially in this community. And so my goal for my first year here is just getting kind of the word out about how incredible the shelter is and expanding the program and getting more medical cases saved and adopted out, sent to rescue if needed, and just working towards that of becoming one of those shelters that everybody talks about.
Okay. That's a good goal, to be a shelter that everybody talks about. That's very good. We hope you'll come back. I have a lot of questions about, caring for animals and animal health, and maybe we can, have you kind of on a regular basis on the show to talk about issues that pet owners face. That would be great if we could do that.
Sounds good to me. I'm
Well,
more than happy to do that.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank
It was
you.
great, just great. We'll be right back. We have maybe Henry will be back or another animal, and we'll talk some more about spay-neuter. Welcome back. We have lots more animals, and as a matter of fact, I have one right here on my lap. I have a little rabbit, and Jack is his name, and he is just the softest thing. He's really cute. He's a year old, I understand, and he's like a saddleback rabbit. He's got white and then brown. So we're going to let Jack stay here as long as he wants, but if he gets a little bit antsy, we're going to give him to Sarah, and he'll go back in his cage. But as long as he stays quiet, we'll keep him. Now, we also have a human person here.
Yes.
And this is Lori Tucker. Mm-hmm. And Lori, you tell us your title.
I'm a vet tech. I worked specifically in the surgical department doing the spay and neuter programs.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about today is spay-neuter. The rabbit is licking my finger.
He's a sweetie, yeah.
Yeah, he says I'm giving you kisses, okay. Talk a little bit about the spay-neuter program here, how much it costs, when you do it,
Sure.
Who can take advantage of it, and why you do it.
Okay.
Okay?
We do approximately 1,500 spay and neuters a year for the public and 1,300 for our in-house animals. It's $100 for dogs, $50 for cats, $40 for rabbits. We do it primarily on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do have a select number of appointments the other 5 days of the week. It includes a rabies vaccine and a microchip for the dogs and the cats. And it's basically an awesome program for the public because spay and neuter tends to be one of the more expensive procedures for pet owners, and especially if you have multiple pets in the home, it can be quite costly to get all of them spayed and neutered. Not only is it a benefit to have your pet spayed and neutered for health factors, but also for breeding and overpopulation. So we're really proud to offer the program here at the shelter and be able to do it at a low cost that's affordable for everyone to take advantage of. And that's the other great thing about it is you don't have to be a Martin County resident. Anybody in the state of Florida can take advantage of it.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah.
When you say public, you mean that anybody can come here and say, I'd like to have my animals spayed.
Absolutely, and there's not a limit to the amount of animals they can bring. If you have 5 cats, you can get all 5 of your cats fixed. We want to reach as many people as we possibly can, so we try to make it as easy for everybody to access that program.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, if someone is interested in taking advantage of the program, should they call here first?
That's going to be the best bet is to give us a phone call. Sometimes we can get you in the same week, but usually within a week or 2 we can get you in, make an appointment over the phone. It is a prepaid appointment, so we do take credit cards over the phone. You're more than welcome to come into the shelter, take a look around, get a feel for our organization, and you can schedule it up at the front desk as well and pay cash or credit card if that's preferred. But yes, a phone appointment would be preferred.
Okay, great. And we probably will give us a telephone number.
Sure, 772-223-8822, and the extension for our front desk is 3240, and anyone at the front desk can help you schedule that appointment.
Okay. Now, why is it so important for you guys to be involved in a program like this? It obviously expands your mission, but the organization seems to think it's very important.
it's crucial. We are a shelter that takes in homeless animals, and that's a main part of our organization and our mission. But to cut down the population, in a perfect world, we wouldn't need shelters. And the one major factor of that is spaying and neutering. So for us to be able to take in, homeless animals and help them, obviously that's an amazing thing. But to be able to cut down on the number of animals that come in, the main way that we can do that is by spaying and neutering, for sure.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, we're glad that you joined us today, Lori. It was nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
And maybe we'll have you back on. How would that be?
Anytime.
It wasn't so bad, was it?
It was great.
You can stay right here.
Okay. You got it.
We hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about SpayNeuter today. It's a very important topic, and we wanted to spend our entire show on it. We'll be back again next month with our regular Pets on Parade with all the dogs and all the cats. But for right now, this is Jackie Williams for MCTV. Remember, if you're interested in adopting a pet, the place to go is the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast, as Jack gets really excited because he thinks you guys are coming to adopt them. Remember, the Humane Society has lots and lots of wonderful animals, and you make sure that you take good care of those pets that are in your home.